Well, it's the next day after skidding those few logs out. I'm just about ruined physically. I am old. Anyway, let's cut some lumber today. I might investigate getting the sawmill a little bit more level. I don't know. I have a feeling there's just frost under it that needs to melt and it'll come back down. So anyway, let's go load up a log. See, we're off to a great start. Living up to the channel namesake. Also, the tractor wants to do regen right now, so I just set it to do that over there so it's not pointing at my face. It stinks. I'm sure it's full of great stuff too. I think this guy we can wrestle up on there by hand. I guess that was it. It's a short regen. Wouldn't have happened if I had set these log stops right. I can't believe that stopped regenning already. Whoever came up with that, it's really dumb. This is a step I'd rather not have to do. But blades are expensive. And cutting dirt does not help your blades. I wish I could just peel the bark off. I feel like that's even more work on green lumber. Oh, I guess it's not lumber yet. Coming soon. On bigger logs, I've got a little scissor jack that I can stick in here and lift the end up to get it kind of centered. Get a little bit better yield that way, but on these little ones it's not even worth it. I just get what I can out of them. Still got some dirt, but I don't know any way around it. Tractor's still screaming about regen. I pushed the forced regen button before, but it kicked off. I don't know if it wasn't warm enough yet or what. So I just throttled it up to like 1800. See what it does, I guess. Bad on this one. Really only going to get 1x4s of this. Kind of waste of time, really. I mean, I can get a 4x4 on this, but I don't really need to be. There's no sense of cutting things you don't need, so. Gotta get this thing flattened out again. Doesn't matter for this little stuff. one will have to be recut. I want to try to pull this bunk down right here. Stop this rock. Actually, I wonder if this is straight at all. Before I go like that. No. But it's got to be crowned some because this can't be crooked in the right direction, every direction. It's still way high. This thing will need to be redone completely once the ground's all back to normal. I really don't even like messing with this. I had it pretty good in the fall. Like real good. Use my laser. I need a good way. I guess what I need is some freaking lag bolts down through. Really suck that down. These L pieces, these angle iron pieces that form the track, they have a bow in them individually. There's three pieces and each one has a bow. Not a lot, but enough to make this a pain. My fear now is this is loose. I'll put a heavy log on here. It'll push it down. Be wrong the other way. I don't know. It's kind of a goofy spot. I guess it's going to have to be good enough. Having these mounted to something solid is good, but it's just wood screws holding it in there, so. I can really pull it down. It's 3/16 angle iron. Well, it's not as bad as it was. Oh. Smart guy. Alright. That'll do. Smallest little bit off of this thickness. There's your 4x4. There you have it. That's how you ruin a blade, because I'm an idiot. Left that stupid stop up. Yeah. I adjusted this one down so that it's just up on there. Now I left this one right at 4 inches. Yay. So yeah. Struggle is my middle name. Well, I might as well see if I can finish this cut. I can't imagine it's gonna love it. So immediately it's just going up now. That's why, yeah, see the cut is heading right uphill. Looks like a half-inch thick right here. Yeah, okay, well, guess I'll shut down for now. Nothing like ruining a blade for $12 worth of lumber. Blades are about 20. Had this way, so the blade come into it and rode up over it. But as you can see, it's not its first battle scar here. It's got quite a few. These lines I put in here with the grinder, these are 2-inch marks. So this one's actually a little bit less than 2 inches, about 1.5 inches. So that when I'm cutting 2-inch thick material, and this is about 5/8 to 3/4 down from the top, so that I can quickly set it. I had written on there with Sharpie at one point, but it just doesn't last. So, well, let me see about getting another blade and finishing this one stupid little piece of wood. Well, I got a few new blades left. I bought a whole bunch right at the beginning when I got this saw. Looks like I got one. Yikes. 3 left. That's not enough to do anything meaningful. I've got a bunch that need to be sharpened. A bunch of them are scrap because I keep running stuff over with them. I don't know if you've ever dealt with these before. My God, they're sharp like cat's claws. Back off the tension. Undo the locks. It's actually easier if you move the head up a little bit, but not worried about it. Voila. Probably I should have some gloves. And just like that, I've lost my gloves. Huh. Unbelievable. I guess my gloves are gone. Threw them away. What I really need them for, more than anything, is getting this blade from this state to open. There is a way you can unfold this. I have an alternate method. These things want you to die. Even just not on the machine. They want you dead. They just extra want you dead when they're on the machine. So I take them and basically just do this. I bled far less doing that way. Now I wouldn't do that on a pile of rocks. Hopefully we can not do anything stupid again today here. Let's see. Yesterday I broke the cable pulling logs. And today I did this. I guess that's not too bad. It could be worse. So I think you'll find this can probably be sharpened this time. I don't see any mangled. Oh yeah, never mind. These right here, these teeth are, see this one, not too bad. And then these are all rounded right off. There's nothing you can do for those. And then they go back to full teeth again. Now, I'm sure the set is messed up on these teeth. That's why it was wanting to climb uphill. So it's junk basically. Scrap steel. I suppose I should dig some of this crud out of here. Don't know why it'll be full again in about 3 seconds. I gotta find my gloves. Okay. Left them where the blades were stored. I just want to wipe some of the crud off this wheel. There's a belt that runs on here, V-belt. It's supposed to be loose like this. I don't know why, but there's a sticker right there that says it's supposed to be loose. So, I believe them. You have to replace these once in a while. I had to replace my first one rather early on because I had some conflicting instructions on how to tension the blade on this. I've been watching a bunch of YouTubers to figure out which sawmill to buy. Well, I landed on one of these, and everybody said that you tighten the tension screw until all the bell washers, some sort of washers, they're concave. You tighten all those until it's flush. I'll show you that in a second. Oh, that was not correct. The sawmill came with one blade. Using that setting, it worked fine on that blade. The minute I put a third party's blade on it, it was throwing blades constantly. I think that the third party blade was just a tiny bit shorter, therefore really increasing the amount of tension that the blade had on it. And I was a new guy, so had this thing full of water, the lubrication system, and had that absolutely pouring out. The poor blade had no chance. So what you want to do is just get these, I like to have it so it's just hanging off the back. And that's usually pretty good. If you look at this sticker, it tells you to tighten it in until that's flush. Right now you can see it's backed off. And on the end there's a 1/2 inch square drive. That'll be important here later. I called the customer support for Woodland Mills. They're great. They sent me some updated instructions and basically told me to not worry about this and to use a torque wrench on this every time and tighten it to about 25 foot-pounds. Well, not a fan of that because it means your nice expensive torque wrench ends up hanging out with all this sawdust and dirt, and you forget and leave it outside, and now it's freaking soaked. So anyway, I took that apart and pulled one of the washers out and then torqued it, and it ended up being just about right. Long story short. So I just want to rotate this a little bit. Make sure that's going to track okay. I didn't break anything when I hit that steel. It looks good. It hasn't moved. You can see it's right. Words, I don't know. There it is. It's right there. Oh, and you need to adjust these sometimes too. They're like, I don't know what they're called. Clearance gauges. So, well, so there. That's enough of that. That's all set. suppose we finished cutting this one $6 friggin' log here. Really wasn't even worth the blade that we just destroyed, but and the one board that we cut is gonna be wacky. Not made for cutting steel. You can get carbide tooth blades for these, but that's expensive in a different way. So we'll fire this thing up, finish that one cut. Hopefully nothing catastrophic happens this time. So basically, yeah, we just lost a little bit off the end of this board. Honestly, if I was like boarding in like this building, I would just use it. So I probably will just use it. After all that, I'm going to get 4 1x4s and a 2x4. Pretty nice 2x4. So yeah, not even 4 1x4s really. It's more like 3 good 1x4s, 1 mediocre 1x4, and 1 2x4. I mean, I guess if you had to buy those, it'd probably be 25 or 30 bucks. But now we can start this process again. I don't think you can earn a living with one of these machines, which I'm not trying to do. I'm gonna just set these up higher so I don't throw the log off the back like I did last time. I kind of feel like doing something longer. I don't know. I kind of feel like not doing anything today, really, if I'm going to be completely honest. I really only want to have to clean it where the blade passes through. I have a hole in my tractor tire. I can hear it. I had to fill it this morning. Be nice to find it. Oh dear. That's a huge crack. Well, that's great. Can't wait to buy one of these. Sheesh. What'd I say about struggles? I may get things wrong, but naming this channel Struggle Mill was not one of them. Holy cow. Guy can't catch a break. It's my own fault. There's not anywhere I don't drive that tractor. That's just crazy though. Big giant crack like that. Usually I try to put the skinny end towards the sawmill, but it doesn't matter as much on these little short ones. Usually when you've got a long one on here, you're trying to actually maximize. You want it cut in such a way that you don't have bark on the edges, so you're really trying to get your lumber out of the center of the log. This here is just kind of garbage really, but I have it. You might as well cut it into boards. This clay is nice stuff. Not too bad to get off of here until it gets hard. And then it's just like cement. I wonder if I could just stick a tube in that tire. It's not like I'm running it down the highway. I don't know, those front tires probably aren't that expensive. Can't be more than a couple dozen of eggs. What else are we going to destroy? Hopefully nothing. Hoping to get some 1x8s out of this guy. Try to line this thing up. I don't know what the best way is going to be. We're going to just have to look at it. Probably like this. This is where I like to make these log stops come up a little bit, just to get stuff square. Then I'll adjust it back down. That's pretty good there. Just gotta not forget about them. So I want to maximize the amount of wood I can get out of the center of this on the flats, because there's flats on both sides now. So the center of this flat, about 4.5 inches, 6 inches, 5 inches. So we can probably just run with it right there. We're going to get some odd stuff on the top and the bottom. Quite a gap here. It's just how it is. Not going to lose too much sleep over it. Do some spring cleaning here. Try not to waste too much, because all of it can be used for boards when I'm boarding in the roof and stuff. And you need a pile of them, that's for sure. So I'm going to take the top off of this and then put my log stops down, flip it over. Cases where you have to trade off trying to get the maximum amount of lumber on the stuff because it does wear and tear on your stuff. So sometimes it's not worth it. Like this board here, yeah, I can cut a 1x6 out of it probably, but it's going to be 4 feet long. So not really worth it. I should have just cut there to start with and thrown the whole thing. So now I'm going to flip this over. There's an awful lot of bark on there, but like this log's almost a waste of time, really. Normally I just throw these pieces down on the ground and pick them up and recut them, but it's a bit of a con. If I'm lucky, I'll be able to get a 2x4 out of the bottom of this. So really on this one, I might as well make my first cut at the shallowest spot. So it's going to be about 6 inches. So that seemed to be a bit of a waste of time. I didn't even get all the way through the bark. Trying to let the blade stop before I run the carriage back. Sometimes the blade will ride up, and when you come down off the edge of the log, it'll actually be below the end of the log. If you run this back and it hits that log, it'll pop the blade right off. So try to make it a habit to let it stop before I yard it back. That's an acceptable 1x8. As long as one side's good, I'm happy. I'm using this as side meat. Even then, it doesn't have to be perfect because I'll be doing board and back, and that will cover approximately 1 inch of the edge. I think I'm going to toss this. It's just not worth it. Okay, so now I can get a couple of clean 1x8s, and that'll be it. Alright, so now I'm at the point where I have this guy left. It's mostly bark. So what I'm going to do is flip it over and get it cut to 2 inches thickness. And maybe I can get a 2x4 out of it. You never quite are able to get the amount of lumber out of this stuff that you're hoping for. It's insane how large of a log you need to actually get good clean lumber out of. So I'm gonna go for, cut this 2 inches. I would say I would cut a 2x6, but I don't need 2x6s. I do, but I need 12-foot 2x6s for rafters. So I can always use 2x4s. And if I can't use them, you know, there's always a neighbor or somebody that needs them. So I'll finish these ones up. Probably could have left that the way it was, but I like to try to make the lumber consistent. Makes it a lot easier to build with. Alright, so now I'm going to cut some off the edges of this. Set my stops for 4 inches. What I'll do is, since I got about inch and a half of bark here, I'm going to flip this guy over. I'm going to cut it 5.5 inches up. Then I'll flip it over and cut 4. This new level. Adds another layer of complexity. It'd be nice for that to stay put. That's pretty nice. I can get 1x6 out of this pretty easy. Should have a little bit of bark on it. So I'll cut it to 7 and then flip it over and cut an inch off. It'll be something. So there's a major problem with this not being flat. This side's 6. This side's 5 5/8. So like I might as well just pack it up until I can get this flat again. Once I start trying to cut these longer logs, it's going to make it worse. I don't really feel like leveling this again until everything's thawed. So I'm probably going to quit while I'm ahead before I ruin a bunch of logs. Yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoyed my ramblings and failures. I certainly, this is my thing. I love being out here. Doesn't matter what I'm doing, cutting trees, cutting lumber, doing stuff with the tractor, just improving my land. Lived out here for 18 years and just got the tractor a few years ago. I should have bought it the day that we bought the land, but we were young and super broke then. So, but I'm getting stuff done now. All right, fine. You talked me into it. I'm gonna put some of that lumber on that back wall. I need to go gather some tools. I don't know if you guys are like me, but I kind of leave stuff in random places. And I hate it. I don't know how to stop. Problem is I don't have any central place to keep my tools. I've got a shed down back here that I decided I was going to put all of my carpentry tools in. And then I've got a little shed up here by the driveway that I decided would be my mechanical tools, welder, that sort of thing. What I need is a garage. Right where that truck is and this porch and car is, eventually will be a garage. Found my tool bag. Put my tires on. As you can see, it's nothing but mud. May have jumped the gun on that. This is all pine. I cut this out of one tree. We're gonna use it on the floor of my wife's building here. There's a giant pine tree. This is the stump for it. It was kind of had an ant problem. This part right here, this was like this when it was growing. And we didn't know how far the rot went, so we cut it down. But that's a big tree. Biggest tree I've ever cut down. That was the reason why I bought that 24-inch bar for my saw. Of course, I'm now realizing I left my cordless skill saw up where I just was. So this is how I spend most of my spare time. Just walking back and forth. Somebody made a mess here yesterday. Luckily, I have my backup saw. Wow. Some weird forces at play there. I just need enough room to do this section. I doubt I have the ambition to do any more than this. I'm going to cut a couple of 2x4s. Stick in here. There's a chalk line for the middle one. I'll get the bottom one first. I think I just set it down as low as I could go before on the high end and then leveled it across, which I'll probably just do that again. And the best part is the water's dripping off the roof. And the actual best part is I don't have a pencil. Okay. I can deal without a pencil. What is one? I'm going to use our two freshly minted 2x4s. This is the part where I'm going to have to mark it with my knife. No pencil. Or a nail, I guess. Alright, so bottom one first. Yep. Do the twist. Circular saw, not a circle saw. Not too bad. Toenail this in. Using a non-galvanized nail. That'll trigger some people probably. I I got them for free, so. I'm planning on boarding this in. And you see how the bottom of the wall is getting wet there? I'm going to put like a 3-foot tall piece of galvanized roofing on there. I've got a bunch of it that I got for free. Do that, and then I'll run a board and then the battens. It'll be good enough. Oh, look at that. Good enough. Do it again. This nail's bent. Back when I was a hot shot carpenter, I would have scoffed at using bent nails. Now that I have to buy them, I'll just straighten them out. Fine. Alright, let's get this middle one done. Alright, I'm going to cheat a little bit. Gonna go down 2 inches. I'm gonna stick a nail in there to hold this end up. People that work alone will know this trick well. Should pull out my square and get this perfect, but I'll just use the micrometer for now. This is just bullshit. I have a nail gun. I have a couple nail guns actually, but by the time you lug all the cords down from the other building, get it all hooked up. I mean, my air compressor's down here, but it's just not worth it. Not for the amount of time I'm going to be working. I don't typically put in a hard 8-hour day when I'm working for myself down here. It is also my weekend. I like to enjoy myself a little bit. A little hand nailing's not bad. At least I can do this fairly competently. Alright, I guess I'll get a third one in there from the bottom. So annoyingly, this is going to be in the way, but no biggie. I guess I need to cut some of these verticals. 93. I wonder if that'll work over here. Oh, and I'll need a piece of soffit too. 92 and a half. I think we're going to go with 93. And then I'll have to dish out the back of the wall a little bit there for that concrete pier. And here. There might just be a notch. But like I said, I'm going to put metal roofing on that part. So I guess I'll get some 93-inch stuff cut here. I guess I could use the new stuff that I just did. I need a pencil. Dang it. So finding that crack in my tractor tire is not great. I suppose I should take it somewhere and have it replaced. But I got here's some 2-foot long tire irons. I change my motorcycle tires all the time by myself. It's not like it's got to be balanced or anything. I think I'll just do it myself. So yeah, that struggle coming to a YouTube near you. I bought some tires on Amazon for my 1-ton. My front tires were bad, they were old. And I took it to a tire shop that I normally go to, and they wanted $100 to mount and balance 2 tires. $100. I laughed and left, went to another shop, and they were booked up. Like their time slots were full. I won't name the shop. But one of the techs said he's got about 20 minutes before his next one arrives. He goes, if you pay me cash, I'll mount them for you. I said, okay, how much do you want? He says, $20. Sure enough, I bring in the tires and the wheels. They were in the back of my car rolling around. He did it in about 15 minutes. No road hazard warranties, no handshakes, no guarantees, nothing. Just they're mounted. Anyway, I gave him $40. Good kid. Like, since when does it cost $50 to mount and balance a tire? Give me a break. One of these days, I'm going to have a tire machine. I know, this is probably pretty noob looking stuff when I'm using a square, but... Owie, ran my finger right over. I didn't even need to do that. I could have just held the square up and cut it. Whatever. See, so now here's the rub. Like, I'm all bunched up on top of myself here. Box of soggy nails. I'm gonna need some of those anyway. I need to get more. That doesn't need to be here. You need to go away. I wish I could clone myself. I need about 3 of me. It's a nice pencil. Don't you love that? Bottom of that out. I will do it. I know they're going to dry out. I'd rather just have them shrink instead of crack. So. Still haven't even put the battens on my wife's building yet. I've had the boards on it for 2 years now. It's just like I said, there's not enough for me to go around. But having a YouTube channel maybe you guys can guilt me into doing some of my projects. That would be super helpful. I'm really good at starting stuff, just not so much finishing. Finishing is a lot of work. I'm gonna work on these beetles. One of them needs a top and brakes. One of them needs something. It's not running currently. I suspect it's something fuel related. It's a 79, fuel injected. 79, and it has a computer. That's a great idea. Luckily the yellow one is a 71. There's no computer in that one. It needs brakes in the top. That one actually runs. Well, it has run since we've had it. It's good to check, just so it doesn't get away from you. Nobody's ever going to see this anyway. But alright, I'm going to cut some more. Big giant knot right there. Cut it off. I even have a chop saw, but like I said, by the time I haul it out here, I'm only good for a couple hours on this stuff. Big gnarly knot in that corner. I just assume not have that. I just assume not have it. Try to put a nail through that, ain't gonna work. Need like 4 hands. You'd be way more than double productive if you had 4 hands. I think you'd be like 5 times more productive. This one also has a giant knot in the corner. For those of you that don't know, knots are super hard. And sometimes you can try to drive a nail through them, but they'll break. So it's best to just avoid them if you can. Isn't that great either? Who cut this crap anyway? Well, let me nail these ones on. I ain't out here looking to break records. Sawdust raining off of things is great. Keep adjusting it. If you don't, by the time you get to the end, it'll be way off. Some of these are like half rotten. Price was right. Yikes. It's okay. only temporary. It's got some bark on it. I'm going to put it towards the inside so that I'll see it forever. No, I shouldn't. I should just put it on the outside, but then the bark will fall away and there'll be a hole. Yeah, I'll put it towards the inside. Put it towards the inside on the bottom. I think I'm going to nail this one on the top first. That one's been cut, but it's not very square. Who did that? That one's alright. Oh well. Good enough. Not like it's a paying customer. You ever hear people say, what would you do if you won the lottery? Would you still go to work? Nope. Nope, I wouldn't go to my paying job. That's for sure. What would you do? You'd get bored. Nope. I could stay busy for the rest of my life. I'd be even more busy if I had a huge lottery budget. I'd never stop building things. I'm not talking just crap like this. I'd build a beautiful house, hot rod cars, off-road buggies, you name it. Of course, the major problem, the major flaw with that is we don't really gamble. Play the lottery. We do go to Vegas once in a while, but that's like, I wouldn't even consider us a low roller. We're more of, I don't know. People go to Vegas, talk about what their budget is per day, and it's like, if it's more than $100, you're already outpacing me. It's more of a people watching type thing for me. It's, the whole place is ridiculous. So, well, I get a little bit done on my back wall here. At this rate, I should be done with this building by about 2035. No, I'm just kidding. This is really the first work, these few videos I've done, first real work I've done this winter. I've been doing a lot of sitting around. It's been so cold. The only real outside thing I've been doing is plowing snow with a tractor and shoveling snow. So this is my mess. This is yet another project that, as you can see, has no siding on it. And it has a roof full of holes. But it's a place for my motorcycles to live and all my other random junk. This thing's my pride and joy. It's a lot of work at times. Hopefully it's warm enough outside, it'll just start. I didn't plug in the block heater or anything, but it's like 50 degrees, so. Yep. Diesel life. I need new batteries. I guess I'm just not going to go to the dump today. I really don't want to mess with jumping this thing.